that we had was awesome. It was just wonderful. That was the first time I had one, but we had such a fun. And it was just been great ever since. So I just thank you guys for taking me in and treating me. And Bishop, you just, I just don't know what to say. You have been there for me. Even every time I said, well, Bishop, I need to do this. He said, well, don't worry, we got you. And I'm like, I just thank you. For just, God doesn't make any mistakes. This is a testimony. God doesn't make any mistakes because He led me here for a purpose, for a reason.
Amen.
And I am willing to accept whatever it is that He has called me to do, whether it be the church or to grow here and to continuously to move out into the world to be a winner of souls.
Amen.
So
Amen.
God is just my world. I love Him. I live Him, and I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I don't swear.
Good.
That's good.
I don't drink.
Good.
But it took a lot of restraints to get self-control to get to that place. And I didn't have to go to rehab because I used to do the wrong things with the drugs and all of that. But God took me and He washed and cleansed me.
Amen.
And He put me in a place where I can even look in the mirror at myself, because I just couldn't look at myself in the mirror because I didn't like what I saw. But God has been so good to me, and I just can't even stop. See, I'm supposed to be talking about the earth and the religion, but God, when I start talking about the Lord and God and all of this, that, and other, you guys might well get a pillow because we are here for the night.
Let's get into our topic. All right, so with you, I'm very proud to present our dear sister, Alma. Come on, let's hear it for her today.
Thank you very much for being my guinea pigs. But the topic of it is science and religions. As I had to, this is my 7th class, and this is the final lesson for my 8th class that I'm doing tonight. So I'm ahead of myself, so God is good. So what we are going to hear is not like what I thought, that the alien was going to come and get me and take me away, because I had a bad dream that they locked me in a room and I couldn't get out. But this is not what that is. I've learned over the course of the weeks that science and religion is very important, because it is actually go hand in hand. God created man. God created the world, the universe. He put us here all for a purpose. And science is one of those purposes. Because without science, we wouldn't have doctors. We wouldn't have the medicine. But see, God gave them that knowledge, that mindset that they can invent, create, explore things. So we don't look down upon the sciences and thinking that it's bad because they don't believe that God created the universe. Man has a tendency, we're wanting to take credit for everything. And this is one of them, that the scientists want to try to prove that there's some other entity out there that man came from other than the creation of God. And it was very hard for me to get into this study because I'm a Christian. And for me, God is the universe. He is everything. He created everything. And I just brought one of my blogs that I did just to share a little bit that I had in the blog. And it says that, science is a study of things visible. They have to see what they're doing, but we as Christians believe in the invisible. We believe in God because you can't see Him. That we learn to accept that because that's who He is. And in order to be a Christian, you have to believe, you have to trust, you have to know that God is who He is. So this is the dilemma between the science and religion. They don't accept the fact that God created man. They think that we came from a rock. They said they found a rock about, 13 or 14 billion years ago with some fossils that came from the rock, and then the cosmos with some little things that caught up in the air. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, this is not, I don't think that we are coming from the cosmos that gathered little pieces as they came together. You know, and we as people, we will have to have something solid to believe in. But otherwise, we wouldn't have a mindset to do the right thing. Because we have to stay focused on life as we see it. And God does that for us. He keeps us intact. He holds us. He is the maker. And he sustains us through all things. Science can't do that. Yes, they do have doctors that help us along the way. And they have other things that they do. They go to the moon and they do things like that. And to keep their eye on the things that might be a danger to the universe, to the world or whatever. But they can't do what God did, because if God had not created the universe, the world, they wouldn't have anything to use to make the satellites. They would have no material.
That's right. That's right.
They wouldn't have anything that they would be able to do with medicine. They wouldn't have no herbs that they gather from the ground, because God made all things. And it's all things that they use to do all of these things. And that is what the exception is, that God is the maker, the creator. He is, and when they can understand that you didn't just go outside and cut the tree down and make your house. The trees, I love nature, because sometimes when I was in Georgia, I used to stand on my back porch and just look at the trees. Look at all the things that God created that man had no doing, has not touched. And that's what the world is about, looking at God's creation. He created us to take care of his things, to oversee. Man is over all of the dominion of God's things. We are supposed to watch out for his things. Sometimes, and we abuse that. They take advantage of things that we shouldn't do, because not everything should be taken and cut down. There's certain things we need to leave alone, because they're important to our survival. And that's why the ozone layer has come down. That's why they have the rain and the snow is all in different areas, because they got all these satellites all over the place that is confusing the atmosphere. So God made all of these things. He didn't need us to help him. You don't need him. You don't need us to help him. But we need him to help us. Yes. So without God, we are nothing. We can do nothing. And scientists just, as men just looking at the White House and all of the senators and all of the things that's going on now in the news and whatnot like that, that's the mess that we have made of ourselves by being disobedient. Yes. See, when God came with Noah, because they were disobedient, he just got mad and said, that's it.
That's it.
But see, he promised not to do that again. He said he would not destroy the land because of man's behavior. So it is good. I feel good being a Christian. I wouldn't be nothing else, because a lot of people think Christian life is boring. But it is the most exciting thing. Amen. That you can get to know or to do. Coming together with a bunch of people that believe and love God and see the excitement. When I was here last Wednesday and everybody was praying, I just couldn't contain my spirit. It was just all over the place. God, it's about God. And once we get that under our belt, to know that God is real and he is the source of all our beings. And science, I read something today that his name is, he's a bishop. His name is Bishop Herman. And he wrote, I'm going to use this in my paper because I can use a little bit of citations and stuff like that. And the one that I'm finishing up now, I have to do 1,100 words. He says that in science and religion, we strive to tell man what he is, whence he come, and where he's going. He says science is set forth for bearing facts and knowing, but religion is living, articulating essential things, making them, that makes these dry bones live. So Christian life, religion, articulates essentials that makes these dry bones live. So that is what it's all about. Science has their own field. It's as doctors and astrologers and they're, a curiosity, but it's still God's things that they are curious about. If they would never be able to outdo God. They would never, no matter what machine that they would build, or maybe no matter what their knowledge, how far their knowledge would take them, they see God, they don't know that God knows already. He already knows before they even started. He says that he knew us before we was in our mother's belly. He knows our every thought before we even think it. So God is the source. That's what it's all about. Science is good, because when I get sick and I feel hurt, I go to the doctor. But I know that God gave him that knowledge.
That's right.
Yeah. My doctor is a Christian that goes to St. James Baptist Church. Yours too?
That's my doctor.
Dr. Yearwood. Yes, he's a doctor, but he's also a Christian. And I, as my studies goes, there was others at Hugh Ross is a scientist, but he also is a Christian. So there are some that are Christians that believe in God and they know that God is the creator of the earth, but what they feel is that they are curious how these things came to be made. Sometimes you do things and you don't know, why did I do that? How did I do that? And then before you know it, it's already done. So you can't outdo him. He's just God. He's just God. And the religion of it is, I don't believe in religion, but I like Christianity. I like the word Christians and Christianity, because some religion is not always what it's cracked up to be. But Christians, we have our calling. We know where we're going. We know where we're headed, because we are in a relationship. And once you make and build that relationship, it's just pretty much smooth sailing into a world beyond your belief. God that's just how I feel sometimes. It's like, I know I'm here, but sometimes I don't feel it from here, because I know that God is so real that the things that he's doing for me and with me is unbelievable. And a lot of people just don't see us as we are, because we are Christians, and when we do withstand things that other people might do to you, now that you have become humble, you learn to take, he said, turn the other cheek. So we learn to do that as a Christian. But as a science major, you believe in facts. That's my STEM audit that I did with one of the scientists at my job. She told me, she said, I'm a scientist, I'm a logical person. I deal in facts. So she don't believe in God, because God is a spirit, but she believes in Christ because she thinks that Jesus is a man. So she made a perfect specimen for that paper because I had to do an assignment on someone that was non-believer, but she don't believe that she is a non-believer, but that's struggling in her Christianity. But the things that we discussed, it wasn't my place to tell her at that time about God and how it really is. It was my job to listen. So that's what I did with that. But just to say that I wrote today that the lack of interest can cloud my view in the science, which blocks my vision from the accurate picture. See, not to say that I don't understand science or have a relationship between religion and the scope that connects the two. Is that it's a given science is a place in the world of Christians, is a kind of people that worship God. We believe in the Word and the Creator of the universe. But nevertheless, we must accept science is one of the most extraordinary accomplishments that has happened in our time because of our the advancement and the technology. I mean, we used to have to put a dime in the phone on the corner and call somebody. But now you walk around with a phone in your hand, you don't need a house phone. There's so much technology, the advancement in technology that was done through science. But it's not so much about the advancement of our world that is the dilemma or the conversation. The thing of it is that the maker of the world that made these things possible. Once I think that science would get an understanding that that tool that they're holding in their hand, that the material that they used to make that tool was something that was created by God. If they go down into the ground when they went and got the oil was already there. They didn't have to put that oil in there. It's just that they found it. And that put together the cars. And now when I drive my car, I think about it. I'm like riding around here on this road with this vehicle that someone thought about it. It was a thought in someone's mind that they put these little pieces together and made us a car. But there was another, the first car that was ever made was made by a black man back in slavery time. And then it wasn't a T4, the Milo's T4 was named T4 because the owner of the slave was T4. But it was made by a black man. It didn't have a motor and all of that, but they did learn how to turn that little wheel thing and get it going. But it's still a mindset that that God set in our head. We can do anything. With God, there's that saying that through God all things are possible. It is real. If we think about what we want to do, and we put our mind to it and be diligent to it, as our bishop has said, we have to have that mindset. We have to stay focused on the things that we want to do in life. We can't wave to the left or to the right. You just got to have, I call them sacrifices, but it's not really a sacrifice. It's just, what do you call it, Bishop, just now?
Self-control.
Self-control. It's self-control. And once we get that self-control, there's anything is possible. Anything is possible. Because who's to say 15 years that I would be standing here when I was in the club doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, running that street, that life 15 years ago. Who's to say I would have been here? But through God and with God, He made it possible.
Hallelujah.
And I wouldn't change it or trade it for the world. So I just don't know if my time's up. Yeah. You're good, thank you. I thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I don't know what kind of a grade I'm gonna get, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Well, I I don't know what the teacher's gonna give you, but I'm gonna give you an A.